Hi guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. I know it's been a long time since we've done a cooking video, but we're still in quarantine, so we're still gonna try and do videos as often as we can. So as I'm filming this, today is a Friday, and on Friday, after working at home all week and dealing with online learning with my son and just, you know, all the stuff that comes with running a household, Fridays, the name of the game for supper time is fast and simple. So I have a recipe for you tonight that is really couldn't get to be any more of both. It is very, very fast. I use my Instant Pot, and it uses very few ingredients. You may actually have a lot of these already in your fridge. It's ready in a matter of minutes. It's really good. It's a crowd pleaser. So let's get started making buffalo chicken tacos. Okay, so let's talk about ingredients for our buffalo chicken tacos. And I'm going to completely disregard my dog in the background, who decides that the second I start filming a video for YouTube is when he needs to go outside. He's been outside about a zillion times, so please ignore the scratching sounds in the background. Anyway, for starters, chicken breasts, one per person. We've got 3 people tonight, so we have 3 nice large chicken breasts. Okay, these ones are thawed completely, but you can do it from frozen. I think I would just probably add a couple minutes to the cooking time in your Instant Pot. Next, a little bit of butter. I'm not going to use all this. This is about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use about half of this just to add a little bit of richness to our sauce. Now, Frank's buffalo wing sauce. This is my favorite. I love this. I have made my own buffalo sauce before, and it's good, but for me, this is the gold standard, and it's easier than making your own. So this is what we're using tonight. I'm going to use about a cup or maybe a little bit more of that to taste. You don't want your chicken meat, once it's shredded, to be soggy. You want it to be saucy, but still somewhat dry. So you have to kind of eyeball it. We're going to use about a half a cup of, this is the Philadelphia low-fat cream cheese. This one's actually 0.4 grams of fat, so it's like virtually fat-free. We're going to use about a half a cup of that, again, just to add some richness to our sauce. Some ranch salad dressing, the dry stuff. If you don't want to put this in, you could always just wait till the end, and when you serve it, you could add a little bit of regular ranch dressing right on top of your tacos too. That's your choice, but I like to put it in the mix. And I've got some water here, again, just because we're eyeballing things. We just want to see if our sauce, if it gets too dry, you just add a little bit of water as we're going along. So here we go. And then of course, we're gonna need taco shells. So I thought I was just buying shells when I actually bought this, but it turns out to be a whole meal kit. So we've got our soft taco shells. We've got our hard taco shells. And we've got a bunch of stuff we don't need that we're just gonna set aside for later. So what's really nice about this particular dish is that you don't have to do a lot of browning or sauteing or chopping. It's virtually what I would call a dump and go recipe. So without further ado, let's take a look in our pot and get started. Okay, so we are ready to get started. Now I don't even have my Instant Pot on. I simply am getting my ingredients ready to go here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with just a little bit of the Frank's Red Hot in the bottom of my pot. To which, and I have my trivet in here, as you can see, to which I'm going to add my chicken breasts. I think the thing with the Instant Pot, like good thing of rule of thumb, I guess, is to make sure you space your food out. Now this is no problem because, 3 chicken breasts, this is I think an 8-quart model, so this is going to fit everything perfectly. All right, I'm going to dump the rest of my Frank's Red Hot in on top of them, making sure they get covered. I'm now going to add a dollop or half that butter. Okay, that's good. We're going to add, I'm not going to add a whole package of the ranch salad dressing, but we're going to add probably, I don't know, a half, I guess. And we're just going to sprinkle that in. About half. Now we're going to add our Philadelphia cream cheese. So I'm going to eyeball a half cup, say. Probably looks like about half a cup. And then I think I am going to add some water into the bottom here because you want to make sure that you have enough liquid in your pot for it to come to pressure when you start to cook it. So without further ado, now let's take a look at the controls on our pot and get this bad boy cooking. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our lid on our pot, and you'll hear it sing a little song. And then you make sure that it's locked into place and that your arrows on the front of your pots line up. I don't know if you can see, there's one there and there's one up there. Now, with this particular model, which happens to be the air fryer, this automatically goes into the sealing position. But if you have a model with the little manual dial, you want to make sure that it is on sealing. Otherwise, this thing is never going to come to pressure, okay? So next thing we're going to do is we're going to get down to our control panel. And again, my Instant Pot may not look quite like your Instant Pot, but we're going to go to pressure cook. Oh, now you can see the last time I cooked in this, I had it set for 40 minutes. We don't need that. So we are just going to use our dial and we are going to take it all the way down to 13 minutes. And then with my unit, you now have to go and press the start button. So now you're going to hear those three little beeps. It's going to say on high, and basically now we have to wait for the pot to gain pressure, which could take anywhere from, you know, a couple minutes to up to 20 minutes, depending on the stuff you have inside and the temperature of it and how much liquid you've got. So let's just give it a while and see how long it takes, and we'll be back once it has started cooking. Okay, so I've been hearing this bubbling and brewing, and I know it's getting hot because I'm actually already starting to smell the smell of the buffalo wing sauce, and the pin just popped up on my back of my pot here. So at any point now, I'm expecting my dial is going to turn from on high, oh, there, perfect timing, I couldn't have done that again if I tried, to 13 minutes. So we are cooking it on high pressure for 13 minutes. That's the key, no matter what model you have. High pressure for 13 minutes. When that's done, I'm going to let it sit in the pot and let it count up another 5 minutes. So that's called a natural pressure release, and it just basically means that rather than popping the little button in the back or flicking the steam vent and letting all the pressure out, we're going to let the machine naturally depressurize on its own for about 5 minutes. What you're going to be left with when you take the lid off is absolutely perfectly shredded chicken. At that point, we'll gauge how much liquid is in there. If we've got too much going on, no problem. We will just turn on the saute feature and we will just stir and stir until some of that liquid naturally evaporates. At that point, I'm just going to pull the plug and let this keep warm until supper time when I'm ready to use it. Because right now it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nowhere near supper times, but that's okay because the Instant Pot will keep it warm for us as well. And I'm going to chop some toppings and I will put some cling film over it, and then you'll have your meal ready when you are ready to eat it. So let's just come back when this is done counting down and I'll show you what you're left with. Okay, so you can hear our pot is beeping. That means that our pressure cooking time is done. And as you can see on the display here, now the pot is reading L000, and that's fine. That I don't really know exactly what the L stands for, but I like to think that the L stands for leave it alone and let it do its thing. So we are going to do that, and we're going to let it count up to 5, which means 5 minutes of natural pressure release, and then we're going to come back and we're going to pop the pin on this, and we're going to see how our chicken has turned out. Okay, so our timer has counted up 5 minutes, meaning that it is natural pressure released for 5 minutes. I've spun my Instant Pot around to the back here so that you can see how mine looks as compared to your model. So here's my little, this is where the steam will come out. This is actually how I will release the steam now on my pot. And we're just waiting now for the pin to drop, which will mean that the pressure in our pot has released enough that it's safe to remove the lid. You'll hear it click and you'll see it drop down, and your pin will do the same thing. It'll kind of drop. Oh, there it goes. All right, with the pressure out of our pot, I'm just going to turn it. You'll hear that little song. Be careful because there is a lot of steam in there. And look at that. That looks fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take the trivet out of my pot, and I'm going to start shredding the chicken up inside. Okay, I'm just going to take a couple forks. I'm sorry if this is not going to really be in your field of view here. It's kind of awkward to do. And I can already tell that we have a lot of liquid in here. So what I'm going to do actually right now, on the front of my pot, I'm going to push cancel. So that's the counting up as if it were natural. We were letting it naturally pressure release. And I'm going to push the saute button and then start, because that's what I have to do on my particular unit here. And that saute is going to kick on, and the bottom of the pot is going to get nice and hot. And it is going to allow us to boil off some of this excess liquid. It's as you can see, it's super easy to shred. I mean, it's just, you know, the chicken is virtually falling apart here, so that's awesome. Just what we want. And those were thick chicken breasts too. Now again, there is a lot of liquid in here. I'm not going to worry about it. You can always, you know, drain some off if it's too much. I think using the saute feature is going to be exactly what we need to do. We've got one more chicken breast in here to shred up. And we want it to be a nice, rich, but sort of dry, on the dry side, because you don't want to put it in your taco shell or your wrap and have it be all liquidy and soggy. That's not appealing at all. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more shredding, and we're going to let this bubble away a little bit on saute, and we'll be back when we've got it in the consistency that we want. Okay, it's only been a good 5 minutes of bubbling, but you can see how a lot of that liquid is gone, and that's what we want. So I'm going to hit cancel on my pot to stop the saute feature, because we don't want it to burn and we don't want it to get too dry. So you can see it's beautifully shredded. This is exactly what you're looking for, because this is going to fit beautifully in your taco or on your wrap. And incidentally, you can also, you can just put this on a bun. The bun is a very much more traditional way to eat this kind of shredded chicken, but I just thought for some crunch and for something different, we would have it in taco shells. So I'm going to go down to my display here, and I'm going to go keep warm, and that is 10 hours there. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to hit start, because it's just automatically going to start doing that for me, and it'll just keep it nice and hot until we are ready to have it at supper. And we'll show you what the finished product looks like. Here are our buffalo chicken tacos with a little bit of cheese and tomato and lettuce for garnish, and a green salad alongside. And the official tester is telling me they are
good.
So give it a try. It's very simple, very fast recipe, comes together quite easily, and join me again sometime in my kitchen. Take care. Bye-bye.